South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican Armed Services Committee. Sir, how you doing? A good day to you. There's a lot to get through. Are you ready?
Yes.
What do you think is going on with this Russian thing? I mean, how much of it is legitimate? How much of it is hyperbole?
Well,
Smoke?
This Russian thing, right, good point. This Russian thing is just not here in the United States. They're trying to undermine democracy in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, the Ukraine, Georgia. They're up to no good all over the world trying to destabilize democracies. Here at home, I'm 100% certain that the Russians hacked into Podesta's emails, the DNC, and other political organizations. Most of the information that was released was unfavorable to Clinton, not Trump. I don't know what their motives were other than create discontent and discord and to undermine democracy. I'm not challenging the election results. Donald Trump won the election. There's no evidence that they tried to change how ballots were cast, the Russians. They may be doing that in the future in other places and even here. My concern is if we don't push back against Russian interference in our election, we're inviting the Chinese and the Iranians to come and hack us when Trump gets tough with them. So President-elect Trump made a good point.
Let me just slam the brakes on 1 second. He said this, by the way, Mr. Trump, earlier today. If Russia or some other entity was hacking, why did the White House wait so long to act?
Great question.
Why did they only complain after Hillary lost? You said that's a great question. Go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, there would be no strong Putin without a weak Obama. Why didn't the president act? Why didn't he act, when Russia, when Assad crossed the red line he set? He's been weak in the face of dictators all over the world. But here's President Trump's dilemma. What are you going to do? Now, if you don't believe that the Russians were involved in interfering in our election, then I'm really troubled by that because I've been briefed. I don't think anybody who's heard these briefings doubt that the Russians were interfering in our election. Whatever their motives were, I don't care. You can't tolerate that. And if you let the Russians get away with it, I hope Trump takes on China. I hope he takes on Iran. They're capable of doing the same thing. So now, where was Obama? Obama's been AWOL in the face of aggression all over the world. But you had
Josh Earnest just yesterday saying Trump obviously knew the Russian hacks are benefiting him. That's from the podium in the briefing room, sir.
Well, all I can say is that Trump called on the Russians to release emails of Clinton. I never particularly liked that. All I can say is that the election wasn't decided by the leaks from WikiLeaks, in my view. She was a lousy candidate, not representing change, tried to disqualify Trump and failed to do so. But they did hack in to political systems in the United States. They're doing it all over the world. And if Trump doesn't push back, they're going to keep doing it. And the Iranians and the Chinese are going to size us up. And I've had 8 years of weak. I don't want 4 more years of weak.
Rex Tillerson, your name was in the news the other day along with John McCain, Marco Rubio. Do you have concerns or not?
Yeah, I have concerns about his relationship with Putin. I'm not looking to make the Secretary of State Putin's best friend.
You would admit, however, that being friendly with someone does not necessarily dictate a friendship.
That's exactly right. And I would admit and gladly embrace the fact that he's a good, decent man, highly respected in the business world. The people who are singing his praises are close friends of mine. And it comes down to this for Mr. Tillerson with me. I want you to be briefed by the FBI and the CIA about what Russia did in our election and what they're doing all over the world. And I want you to come forward and say whether or not you believe they interfered in our elections, they're interfering in other democracies. And if you say they're not, I will be troubled by your judgment. If you say they are, then what are you going to do about it? Here's what I think we should do about it. We should sanction Putin as an individual and his inner circle, because this could not have happened without his blessing. And even though you oppose sanctions as the Exxon CEO in 2014, because it was bad for Exxon, I'm glad we did sanction Russia, and we need to sanction them again. So my question, Mr. Tillerson, do you realize what Russia's up to here and all over the world, and are you willing to do something about it? Do you support new sanctions? And if he doesn't, I'd be very hard for me to vote for him, because you're giving a green light to this behavior to people all over the world.
Let me just put a fine point on it. Will you fight it or will you approve it?
Well, I'll vote yes or no. The bottom line is we're not going to filibuster, because the filibuster was taken away. He will need 50 votes. He's a qualified business leader. His business experience can be an asset. But here's what I'm looking for from the new Secretary of State. Do you understand that Russia is a bad actor all over the world? They interfered in our elections. They're doing it in other places. Are you willing to do something about it? You opposed sanctions in the past. If you oppose sanctions in the future, then you're letting Russia get away with it. You're inviting more aggression by Iran and China and North Korea.
I get
and I don't
the point.
think you have the judgment to be Secretary of State.
Okay, thank you for all that. I'm out of time for now. We'll talk to you again real soon. Okay,
To be continued. Thank you.
Indeed.